This could be us. So back to what I was saying. Could be us.
Hello, everybody, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Live from Bussyville, Wisconsin, it is your favorite LGBTQ plus podcast, Turning Point GSA. I'm joined here by my co-host Riely, who is replacing Squeebo as full-time host of this show because Squeebo can't commit to being on a podcast right now. And yeah, we're doing this. We're really emphasizing the straight in the gay straight alliance, or the
Yeah, let's go.
I was gonna say sexuality and gender sexuality alliance, and I remembered they are not the same thing. Or maybe I don't know. Do you feel like you embody sexuality as a concept?
Yes, I'm sex on legs. Okay, it's
Yeah.
real.
Sex symbol Riely has been no last name has been shot dead in the streets of Miami, Florida.
No, I have a last name. It's exclamation point.
Oh yeah. Wait, that's your last name. Why is there no space? I thought your last name depended. I thought your last name depended on which fortune you were trying to inherit. You know, the tweets fortune, the streams fortune. All right, this is not Turning Point GSA. Not really. This is not the show Turning Point GSA, but this is a show on Turning Point GSA. You know, I mean, like, how do we explain this? What is a network that has a self-titled show, whether it's television or?
I mean, it's just a
Is it a
it's
thing?
just a podcast network with a self-titled show. I don't know if it's ever been done before, but it's not. I think it's pretty easy to understand. It's a podcast.
It's pretty coherent, I would say.
Got
Yeah.
podcasts in it. One of them has the same name as the network.
So, Turning Point GSA, middle school GSA was just a podcast. Turning Point GSA, we were trying to make Turning Point GSA a thing more than a podcast. We're considering dabbling into other forms of media and possibly IRL stuff, and I will leave it at that because there's a lot of talking to be done about that. But yeah, we're trying to be a multimedia thing.
GSA movie.
Yes.
It's called "Am I Not Racist?" Coming soon.
Yeah. Am I anti-racist?
Am I anti-racist?
Or no, because Am I Racist by Matt Walsh, and also that was the Daily Wire, not Turning Point USA, but
I'm surprised
God.
we watched that together and we never filmed the review. Could that just be what this podcast is?
I don't remember everything in there. We could talk about it. We could talk about it.
It's a great movie.
The Turning Point GSA audience eats up the political shit, so we could. So Matt Walsh, in case you aren't aware, Matt Walsh is a personality. Matt Walsh essentially is, to put it broadly, he is talent signed to the Daily Wire, which is not technically, but could most like. Sorry, God, I'm terrible at talking live. I'm good at I think when I speak, sometimes people could tell that I'm good at writing because I literally stutter as I'm trying to come up with good words for things. But like live, I'm not good at coming up with it. So I apologize. Matt Walsh is a man signed to what could effectively be described as Ben Shapiro's media outlet, The Daily Wire. And he does very similar things to Ben Shapiro. You know, Ben Shapiro is basically just trying to sign a bunch of Ben Shapiro clones to his media network to maximize media output.
And somehow they're all better than Ben Shapiro.
So Ben Shapiro absolutely takes the cake when it comes to the live debates. I have debated Ben Shapiro.
You think?
Yeah, I debated Ben Shapiro and Michael. Well, Michael Knowles is an exceptionally bad rhetorician. I would say, at least in terms of in a live setting. Michael Knowles is notoriously bad and untalented. Michael Knowles is effortlessly charismatic, funny, and has I would say has a generally good, generally pretty well exercised comedic impulse.
Yeah, that's kind of my metric with these sort of people is like, if you're gonna present information to me, it has to be in an entertaining way. And when it comes to viewing Daily Wire people as entertainers, like Michael Knowles has entertained me. Matt Walsh has entertained me. Brett Cooper has entertained me. Ben Shapiro, I don't think once has entertained me.
Yeah. Ben Shapiro is the most popular out of the Daily Wire cast because he's the best rhetorician. He's the best at rapid fire debates. Don't get me wrong, everything about the Ben Shapiro approach to debate is almost sacrilegious to debate as somebody who respects debate. I'm not a scholar. I never studied debate. I've never been in a debate club, just full disclosure. But I do appreciate a good debate and think I can hold my own in one. Um, and I will say Ben Shapiro was the most challenging rhetorician. Um, People now, if you're a Demigloom superfan, which maybe one person is, you're probably asking yourself, Demigloom, didn't you do much better in your Ben Shapiro debate than with Michael Knowles? And I will say yes. I would say I was much more prepared for my Ben Shapiro debate. The Michael Knowles one was kind of a more spontaneous appearance. You know, it was a more spontaneous decision to go debate Michael Knowles. And I will say that I did underestimate him. Um, and with how well the feedback was, you know, like after I debated Ben Shapiro, I had, you know, essentially my political, who I considered a political, I won't say hero, that's a bit much, but sorry, people I looked up to when it came to political thought, like Bosch and Keffels, you know, influencers, had told me that I did an incredible job debating Ben Shapiro. So I thought Michael Knowles would be a piece of cake, and he wasn't. At the end of the day, he's a media trained man who's made a lot of money off of making people like me, who are enraged at what he's trying to do, look stupid. And yes, I fumbled my Michael Knowles debate, but I will say if you actually look at the content of the what he says, excuse me, if you actually look at the content of what he says, his language is much more less dense than Ben Shapiro's, and he has a less like academic vibe about him. I would say, he's I mean to put it simply, he's an idiot. Whereas I think Ben Shapiro was very smart, and
I
has a
feel like
very
that's
carefully
almost to his
crafted
benefit
image.
though,
It
because
is to his benefit.
I think a lot of people have grown tired of like super stringent academic debate. They're looking for somebody who can make a point in a relatable way that's not gonna that you're not gonna fall asleep because it's like you're in fucking civics class.
Exactly, yeah. Michael Knowles is much more appealing to the common man. Matt Walsh too, and I think that's part. I think Ben Shapiro understands that about his company and wanted to hire. I mean, Ben Shapiro too, to a conservative person, like a rich intellectual Jewish guy is just not going to appeal to every single inbred white trash conservative that unfortunately makes up, well, whatever, unfortunately or fortunately is a debate in and of itself, but he doesn't, Ben Shapiro does not appeal to the MAGA core base, especially with his unapologetic defense of Israel and embracing his Jewish identity because of I mean, mainly because of the prejudice in the conservative community, honestly, but also because people are just generally tired of, yeah, like you said, of I guess it being really hard to understand what the fuck people are talking about in politics. That's part of why Donald Trump himself is so appealing, is because a common criticism of Donald Trump from the right, you know, from the Never Trump Republicans, is he's not presidential. But I actually think that his charisma and just sort of everyday guy approach to discussing politics was genius for him, and I think that that's something that the left could learn from personally. Um, just like presidential is hard to explain, but it's a certain vibe that you get when you listen to a president talk. You know, like
Yeah.
my fellow Americans, in our great democracy, we live to uphold certain virtues. And it is to my belief that, you know, like when they talk like that, Donald
It's
Trump will
funny how
just be
your
like,
president voice is obviously just an Obama impression.
I was, it started as an Obama impression, and then I was like, oh shit, that's not too unambiguously Obama. But pay attention, like to the actual words. Like they all talk like that. They
Yeah,
tried
yeah.
hard to sound smart, just not smart enough that the average person can kind of understand what they're saying, but ultimately not relatable at all. You get a high status vibe from them, and you always feel talked down to. Um, Almost as if there's some sort of religious leader or something, and we could do a whole episode about how we treat presidents like that. But Donald Trump is just
I
like,
feel like that's
you're
never been
gay.
more true.
It's just more it's just more everyday, everyday conversation.
Yeah, but I feel like thing you said about the religious figures, like that's never been more true than it is with Trump. Like I'm sure
That's
that
true.
stuff existed for other people, but like I think Trump is the one who made it mainstream to worship a presidential candidate like a fucking god.
It is very ironic that one of the most humanized US presidents we've ever seen, one of the most transparently flawed in a human way, transparently human in that way. Sorry, I've said that like 4 times in a fucking row. Is also one of the most worshipped. And I think that's something we could learn from, honestly. Appeal to the common man is, how that's where the acclaim comes from. That's where the universal belovedness from a certain demographic comes from.
I've never seen
Not from
anybody
pretending to
have
be greater than
merch.
human.
I've never seen anybody have merch of a president not during election cycles until Trump.
That's true. I have been arguing that the MAGA hat is people write articles about the most iconic political fashion of all time, and they leave out the MAGA hat, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you
Oh, for
talking about?
sure, the MAGA hat
It's
is
number
like number
one.
one.
It's number
Yeah.
one. They talk about like armbands for anti-Vietnam War protesters and how that's super iconic, and I'm like, iconic. You realize that, and I feel like there's this sort of I'm totally okay with anti-Trump sentiment being widespread, but the sort of like unwillingness, like the sort of idea that we're super paranoid about even remotely being possibly about the remote possibility of being interpreted as a Trump supporter, that we're leaving out MAGA hats on list of most iconic political fashion, I think is dangerous. It's almost like Voldemort. There's the joke about how Voldemort was just an allegory for the N word. How Dumbledore says, if we're afraid to use a word, we're only empowering it. But I would draw a parallel to something like Donald Trump. Like the idea that we're unwilling to acknowledge how historically unprecedented a lot of the power of the Trump movement is almost giving them more power.
Yeah, it's really weird. People, I mean, there is a word for it that they made up. I think it is Trump derangement syndrome to just like actively exclude him from this sort of thing just because you're afraid of at all being associated with something positive having to do with him.
I don't think it's positive though,
It's
even.
not even positive even,
Yeah,
but
it's just
like yeah, it's the
acknowledging
fear
that
of
it's
being it's
historically
the fear of being
unprecedented.
perceived that way is what I'm saying.
Exactly. The fear of being perceived as pro-Trump has, yeah. I see. I think Trump derangement syndrome is and always has been used to describe people who rightfully call out Trump for, I don't know, his natural appeal to white nationalist and white supremacist voters. I shouldn't say those two things are separate. My bad. Um, and also, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Just Trump. Trump. All I'm saying is Trump is bad, and people who say that are accused of having TDS all the time.
But when we
Has
when we talk about am I racist, and it
Yeah.
spirals to
Anyways, Matt
people.
Walsh. We talked about Matt Walsh. He's a personality on the Daily Wire, which is Ben Shapiro's media company. Ben Shapiro doesn't technically own it, but he might as well. I don't know. Google this shit. I don't have to explain this all to you. Um, and he has this movie called "Am I Racist," which has been described as a traditional conservative investigative journalism, but also with a like Sacha Baron Cohen like comedic appeal,
Yes,
where
it's MAGA Borat.
MAGA Borat is supposed to be the concept, but the movie itself is so terribly unfunny and stupid. It's Am I Racist, and it's just essentially the premise of the film is liberals call everything racist. So let's see uh, how basically the idea that anti-racism has gone too far And while he does point to some examples of anti-racism, or I guess really stupid people who use the idea of anti-racism to justify really stupid shit. Um, there's the occasion they find the occasional activist who is very hostile towards white people as a whole, et cetera, et cetera. The deranged people who use anti-racism to justify narcissism. There's a small amount of examples of that. More often than not, it's just Matt Walsh sort of manipulating anti-racist theory and policy to look like it's something much more sinister than it actually is, and using a lot of criticizing a lot of academic language and ignoring the inherent nuances of academic language, particularly like whiteness. And people say they want to fight whiteness. Now, in an academic context, we understand that whiteness means the white normative society that we live in. The fact that everything is marketed with the every idea is packaged to appeal to white people. That idea. When people say they're against whiteness, that's what they mean. The white being default for everything. I'm explaining this poorly, but I think everyone
Yeah,
knows
the
what I mean.
whiteness of society versus the whiteness of the individual.
Yes, exactly. And Matt Walsh, in like basically intentionally misinterprets it as being anti-white people, and basically being in favor of policy targeting white people. And it's just basically anything serious that he engages with, he has to intentionally misinterpret for his audience that is dumber than he could even pretend to be, or he finds some genuinely fringe extremist. And then there's also him. What's very clearly him interviewing like a bunch of like racist white Southerners, and then cutting out the parts where they say racist things, because you can still hear them say slightly racist things, and there's a lot of awkward jump cuts to the point where it's just like, okay, you talked to a racist Southern white guy with a Confederate flag, uh, for like an hour, and you found 20 minutes of him lying and saying that he's not racist because nobody would admit. But the actual comedy of it was sometimes funny. He does do a pretty good. He does his portrayal of. It's also very similar to one of Sacha Baron Cohen's characters. I forgot his name, but Sacha Baron Cohen on his show, Who Is America, which I would argue this film is more akin to than Borat. He plays like a self-hating white college professor who like just kind of tries to frame everything as more nuanced than it is, and basically tricks white people into saying they hate themselves, and kind of comments on white guilt as a concept and how it has harmed society in subtle ways. And I think Matt Walsh, I mean, he does an okay imitation of that concept, and in some moments. Other times, it's just him basically just irritating like black intellectuals, you know? Like he'll be like, I met with this anti-racist DEI certified professor, and I irritated the shit out of her by just being an asshole. And I guess like
Demigloom,
if
he got her to pay the black guy reparations.
oh, that one, that was a different one. That was funny.
Okay,
I was
that was so good.
he does, yeah, he does get a white liberal author to pay his black friend reparations, which was kind of funny. So like I would say there were a couple of laugh out loud moments in the movie, but overall it was like just like I couldn't enjoy it because because it was Matt Walsh, one of the main architects of the cultural genocide against trans people in America, and B, as a trans woman. Hi, I'm Demigloom. I'm a trans woman. If you didn't know, and B, it was just kind of bad for most of it. And I would say the same thing about most Daily Wire films. I mean, they do consult people who genuinely have written for television. Like it's not like these people. And most of these guys are failed actors who blamed their failures as actors on the fact that they were conservatives. I mean, that was kind of Ben Shapiro's whole thing. Was he wanted to get into Hollywood, and he was like, but Hollywood won't even promote a film that has remotely conservative values, and it's like that's really historically
It
has never
literally
been
aired
true.
in like mainstream theaters. What?
They literally got their shitty movie in mainstream theaters. It's just that Ben
Yeah.
Shapiro, I know that Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles in particular are both failed artists who wanted to get into Hollywood and couldn't because they weren't talented enough, and which is very clear if you read anything that Ben Shapiro has written or see any of Michael Knowles' acting. They are just not really good at acting or writing, respectively. But they made it a martyr narrative, saying that Hollywood won't promote conservatives, which is just not true at all. There are a lot of actors who are conservative. Do we is Hollywood super liberal, and would it do conservatives in Hollywood tend to not talk about politics super much? And does Hollywood have trouble giving venues to people who don't agree with their performative, superficial Hollywood bullshit? Like, yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, and both of those guys, I mean, they're pretty far right too, not just like a traditional conservative guy, you know. So I could totally see their scripts or particularly Ben Shapiro's scripts that he pitched his screenplays, having a bunch of weird, like, tasteless shit about minorities in it. If we know anything about Ben Shapiro before he became a media personality, we know that he loved saying horrible things, particularly about Arabs and blacks. So, all I'm saying is that this martyr narrative about how they couldn't get into Hollywood because they were conservatives is probably not true.
Yeah, definitely
So
not.
they're using this martyr narrative to be like, we're making our own movies. And if you watch any other movies, they suck. And it's clear that they're not in Hollywood because they suck. And and honestly, not just because they're conservative, but because they have clear partisan political messages in general. It would be just as hard to greenlight a movie that was basically like, vote for Kamala Harris and support the Democratic Party no matter what. Like this sort of dogmatic pro this side of the political spectrum. Now, there are movies where if you analyze them, they clearly have explicitly left-wing or right-wing messaging, but the way that these personalities are associated with partisan politics and the fact that they're funded too by like huge Republican names, uh oh my god, sorry. I have acid
Don't die
reflux.
on
Does
me.
anybody know about acid reflux? Do you know about acid reflux and how bad it sucks? I have to take fucking medication so that I don't just puke all the time. And if I eat fucking anything, I feel like I'm on the verge of puking.
I've heard of this acid reflux thing. It doesn't sound very pleasant.
It's bad. I basically have to constantly be drinking water, which it's honestly a good motivator to keep drinking water, but I don't know. I'm talking to my doctor on the 26th. And you know what is the day before the 26th?
Oh well, I didn't get to make any. You're just gonna transition me out,
I know, I'm fucking with you. What did you
you fucker.
did you have nice things to say about Matt Walsh to counterbalance?
I mean, it's mixed. Let me just give my vision on everything. Okay, so the point that
Wait,
I got out of the movie, and a lot of those parts that you kind of criticized about like the academic I feel like the academic language of anti-racism is flawed in such a way where if any human being that is not so deeply entrenched in it looks at it, it looks like objectively stupid. Like, what are you fucking decenter my whiteness? What are you talking about, bro? And like that is something that exists within society. And the point behind the movie, if it was not disingenuous, which it obviously is, would kind of make sense and track. But the problem is Matt Walsh is racist and talks about like crime statistics and shit and says things about black people. He is racist.
yes.
Like I understand the point he's trying to make, and if somebody who actually wasn't racist made that point, maybe it would be more poignant. But the problem is Matt Walsh is racist, so it
Yeah,
doesn't quite play. Because
exactly.
like I feel like if you're maybe this is just my like closed anti-intellectual fucking smooth brain take, but I feel like if you are normal and not hateful, you don't really have to think about anti-racism. especially in so deep and intellectual of terms as it is described in some of the literature that is lampooned in this film.
I won't call you smooth brain, but I do disagree with you. I think well, and another thing too, we have to remember, Matt Walsh was navigating academic settings. These settings weren't intended for the average white person. It's for people who are specific. Any event or thing that Matt Walsh attended, conference, event, whatever, everything Matt Walsh attended was specifically for white people who were looking to learn about anti-racism. So, with that, so if Matt Walsh is was going to illustrate that anti-racism within the general public has gone too far, um, or that this is something poisoning the general public, he would have to demonstrate how the general public is, which he didn't. All he really demonstrated was these academic settings where people are literally trying to learn about anti-racism, and in that context, I think it totally makes sense for them. I didn't see anything anti-racist wise that looked particularly bad in any of those academic settings. The race to dinner thing, where they like basically these white people hired this Indian woman and this black woman to scream at them about racism, I think was like very odd. I don't see the social merit to that quite exactly. It's pretty. I think it's pretty stupid. I'll just go ahead and say it. I think it's pretty stupid. But also, in terms of, I do think the average person who isn't individually racist should at least, and this is where this is exactly where the conservatives will freak out after I say this, but I do think that public institutions should teach values of anti-racism to our children, to children, and I do think that even if you don't have hate in your heart per se towards minority populations in this country, we do live in a society that is historically marginalized those communities, and as a white person, including myself, including the, no matter how far left you are, if you are a white person, you do have blind spots, and it is important to learn how to not reinforce stereotypes or negative ideas associated with minorities. Just on a very basic level, I think that that's true. In terms of, do I think white people should like internalize all of the suffering that has been done at the hands of other white people towards minority populations? Absolutely not. I don't think we should bear the responsibility of it, but I think we should. I think we should look back on history and see, okay, historically, the white population has perpetrated uh, injustices and trespassed upon the populations of non-white people, and we should probably work harder to not do that moving forward. That's all. I mean, and again, in an academic setting, we could get more and more like specific about it, but in terms of like what the average person should internalize, I think it's that white people have historically and continually done things to uphold the inequalities that exist between us and the racial minorities of our country, and we should learn what we can do to make things better moving forward. And I don't think that that would be so controversial if people didn't go into these academic settings and manipulate what they were saying and try to make it look bad.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
There we go. Now I can hear you.
Oh, you missed a lot of that.
Yeah, I just fully lost you there for a lot of that.
For how long? How long did you lose me?
I don't even remember what it was like in the middle of a sentence, so it's hard to remember what the half a sentence was.
Right, but like how many minutes ago, man?
Oh no, 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 not a like seconds ago,
Oh,
not
okay.
like minutes and minutes.
I'll spoil to the audience that we were totally going to do a Christmas episode, and now we're just talking about anti-racism.
Oh, we can move on from this. And I think we're about to reach the logical
Did
conclusion
you?
of this conversation.
Yeah. Did you have more? Did you have anything to add after what I said? Do you agree?
No,
Disagree?
I mean, yeah, you make a fair point. I guess it's just as someone who's not as deeply entrenched in like intellectual politics and is like much more of a normie, it just seems like it seems like it goes overboard sometimes from the outside looking in.
Yeah,
But I can see the arguments for why that's not the case and why it is important.
I can definitely understand. I definitely understand that we could probably do a better job. When I say we, I don't mean that I am an intellectual. I just mean that I'm actively trying my best to follow what's going on. I think a lot of people could learn how to make their ideas less easily misinterpreted, less easily weaponized, and transformed into propaganda.
Fair enough.
But I don't think that there's a lot of sinister shit going on in the broader anti-racist movement. I really don't. I think there's sinister shit going on in the Democratic Party, but in terms of like intellectual or academic institutions having sinister intentions in promoting anti-racism, I think that's entirely right-wing conspiracy theory garbage.
Okay.
That's not to say that there aren't performative aspects of this in political movements, but I just think that the actual intellectual and academic institutions, which are mainly being blamed for this weird, scary wave of not hating black people, I think it's widely conservative propaganda that there's weird shit going on there. It's really like you listen to anyone high ranking in that world explain themselves for 5 minutes, and you realize that you're being told a lot of lies about what's going on there.
Okay. Fair enough.
And yeah, Christmas, kind of.
Episode 1, Christmas and racism.
So yeah, Christmas and racism. We should probably call it that. Make the thumbnail a black Santa or something.
Hell yeah.
So I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. I do love Christmas. Okay, I'm not a Grinch, but Christmas is we take it a little bit. We go a little overboard with Christmas. No, does the entirety of post Thanksgiving year, have to be Christmas? And does Christmas
No,
have to
but the
bleed late into January?
no. I think you have the wrong problem here almost because what you're describing, I think, is fine. People have taken it even further than what you're describing. The post-Halloween year is all fucking Christmas. And that's what gets to me. One holiday at a time. Once Thanksgiving's over, I'm fine with all Christmas all the way down. But people are now starting Christmas shit fucking November 1st, and that's too far.
See, yeah, even that is bad. I mean, that's even worse than what I'm describing. I still think Thanksgiving's a little too early. You know how we like the Christmas scene is so important that it bleeds into January. The Christmas vibe. We don't take the decorations and the tree down yet. Look, I don't want to take the Christmas tree down the day after Christmas, but like, another week is fine. We got to let go. And I think maybe there's probably a huge difference in how Christmas is approached. I live for our full disclosure. I live in Wisconsin, and Riely here lives in Florida. And in Wisconsin, I think we have a sort of attitude that the Christmas is sort of the one good thing about our brutal winters and uninterrupted blizzards and just freezing cold. Like you cannot go outside in the winter in Wisconsin for not most, but like a decent chunk of the winter. You just can't go outside at all. It's almost impossible. There's no outside events ever. Nobody walks anywhere unless they literally have to, and homeless people freeze to death. It's brutal, and we see Christmas as like the one source of joy during the peak of all of that. And I feel similarly. The Christmas time is kind of the one positive thing that I have associated with the brutal snow and ice and you know people freezing to death and the car accidents, and it sucks. But I feel like we're coping a little too hard by extending it into January as far as we do. The first couple of weeks of January, we still got those Christmas vibes here, man. And I know we have a few local-ish listeners.
It's all you had. Christmas is all winter, just because it's the only way you can be happy. You'd be like, "Yay, Christmas,
Yeah,
Santa Claus."
yeah. It's like, well, winter sucks, but Christmas doesn't. So we'll just embrace Christmas super hard. And but man, I gotta tell you, man. First of all, the inflatable decorations. Just stop. Stop it, okay? It's bad enough that we have to see them on
Oh,
Halloween.
come
The
on.
giant and okay, Halloween decorations. Okay, I'm not even gonna say this about costumes. Some people go too far and they say the Halloween costume has to be scary. That's stupid, okay? Because Halloween, let things evolve. But the Halloween decorations, okay? Think of fuck those balloons, those giant inflatable Halloween decorations. They're stupid.
No, I love giant inflatable
No,
decorations.
decorate
They're
your house
cool.
scary, genuinely scary, not cutesy, scary, vaguely Halloweeny vibes on a giant shitty inflatable thing. Okay, make your house fucking scary. I want there to be something scary on Halloween.
I don't know. I think
Halloween
you're
is
just a
becoming
hater.
cute. Halloween Halloween shifted from cool and scary to cute and sexy, depending on your fucking age. Okay? If once you're an adult, Halloween it's all about sexy. And when you're a kid, Halloween's cute, you know? Fuck that, dude. I want some
Because I
semblance of
think
scariness on Halloween. Something to be
I,
scary. I want to
I think
scream in kids' faces and that be socially acceptable again.
I think we've kind of reached a point in society where um the modern day person doesn't really have that innate fear of like ghosts and ghouls and goblins that they used to many years ago. So it just like you said, it just kind of became cute because that's how people see those
What are people
things now.
scared?
It's
What is
like,
the
oh,
modern
look
day
at
person
the
scared of? Ice? We're gonna dress up as
yeah,
ice for Halloween?
ice and society collapsing and
Yeah.
not having enough money to pay rent.
Yeah. We're gonna be ice. The most scary thing, then, if that's what we're scared of, the most scary thing
Just
would be
decorate
ice
your
bank
house like an
robbers.
ICE recruitment center.
No, ice muggers. You're ice, and you're mugging people. So they can't afford their rent. You represent societal collapse, and if you are undocumented or adjacent to any undocumented people, there's that additional adrenaline too. Or if you're a decent person, you should probably be scared of ice. I don't know, man. Look, Christmas. Fuck that inflatable shit. Okay, I hate them. And also Halloween for Halloween too and Christmas. It's like okay, we get it. You can fucking afford that shit. I want to see something creative. It's honestly with the Halloween thing too. It's less about the scary and more about the creative stuff. I want homemade shit. We'll just spend $7,000 on inflatable shit every year, and and call it a day. No creativity necessary.
I don't know. I think I've gained an experience for more a more grand style of decorating, and I enjoy it when I see a big inflatable ghost. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
look at that.
I don't know. And also Christmas music, dude. What are we doing with that?
Nah,
Christmas
I'm
music
I
starts. Okay, it's too early at least, right?
yeah. That's probably correct.
Okay. Fuck Mariah Carey. Period. Fuck that Christmas song. Fuck both of her Christmas songs. I think she has two.
Everybody, if you want to listen to All I Want for Christmas Is You, listen to the version by Big Time Rush and Miranda Cosgrove from Big
Okay.
Time Christmas, the Big Time Rush Christmas special.
Did Miranda Crossgrove, was she in Big Time Rush?
She wasn't usually in Big Time Rush, but in this specific episode, she was in the All I Want for Christmas because they were like, we got to get
Was
a
she,
celebrity to do a Christmas song with us, and the celebrity was Miranda
I
Cosgrove.
mean, as an actor, was she in Big Time Rush for that
No,
episode? Okay.
well, yes, yeah, she was. She was playing herself though. She
Oh,
was
Miranda.
Miranda
Okay,
Cosgrove.
so
Yeah.
it's not an official like Scott Fellows Dan Schneider universe collision. It's more
No,
so
it's literally
famous
Miranda
person Miranda
Cosgrove.
Cosgrove
Yes,
singing with Big
correct.
Time Rush. Okay. Also, the Christmas movies, man. I I don't want to watch Home Alone once a year. I don't. I don't want to watch Elf ever, and I don't want to watch Home Alone every year. Home Alone 1, 2, or 3.
No, Christmas movies, you see, Christmas songs have started to dry a little bit grind on me just because of how constant they are. Like I think this year really didn't help. This new job that I had briefly and then got fired because for like a week and a half they were just playing Christmas music all fucking day and it made me want to gouge my fucking eyes out.
Yeah.
But Christmas movies have not lost any novelty for me. Like that's probably one of my favorite parts of the Christmas season is watching Christmas movies
Can't they
and
make
like
new
Christmas
Christmas
specials
movies?
of TV shows I like and
I
stuff.
love Christmas specials of TV shows. I hate
Okay.
I hate the same Christmas. It just being universally accepted that I want to watch fucking Elf or Home Alone, which one of those two. Period. You know, like that's it. And I was just like, I
I've
know
actually never seen Home Alone.
what?
I've seen Elf, but I've never seen Home Alone.
You're the only person I've ever met, I've ever heard say that.
That's
You
crazy. I've never seen Home Alone.
do you admit that to people often? Because I guarantee you, whenever you admit people that, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you haven't seen Home Alone? Oh
Yes,
my
that
God,
is
what's
what
wrong with
happens
you?"
every
Yeah, every
time.
time. Okay, so this isn't a regional difference. This is a you being
No,
weird for
Home
not having
Alone
seen
is
Home
pretty
Alone.
widespread, but I have
Yeah,
not
I
seen.
thought so. Um, fuck, dude. Then what's in your eyes? What is like the iconic Christmas movie? Because it's Home Alone for the rest of the world,
I mean, like
or the rest
Elf
of the
probably
country at
is one of
least.
them. Fucking, I like a lot of like old ass ones, like Year Without a Santa Claus and Frosty the Snowman.
I like A Christmas Story. That
I've
one's
never seen
kind of
that one
nice.
either.
Huh. That one I think less younger people give a shit about it. But it's a good movie. But it's like why can't they make new Christmas movies that people actually watch?
Do they not make new Christmas
They
movies?
do, and then people watch them the year it comes out, and then they watch, people like
There was
nobody's
Christmas
watching.
Cupid. I liked that movie. That's
Did that
new-ish.
movie stick though? Did that
No,
movie be
not even
like
a little.
yeah, no movie, no Christmas movie sticks like Elf, Home Alone, or A Christmas Story. I'm sure there's a couple other really iconic ones that I'm missing.
What
My
about
family,
Ghosted, The Spirit of Christmas?
I guess
Iconic
The
film.
Grinch. I guess The Grinch with Jim Carrey. That's a good kids. That's another thing too. Is a lot of these Christmas movies are kids movies, and that's fine. But I don't really want to watch. I don't know. Like I'll watch kids movie. There are kids movies that I love, but like as a general rule of thumb, if something's for kids, I like it less.
And I think this is the year. I gotta find somebody in the next 4 days to review Ghosted, The Spirit of Christ. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to review that specific movie and it's fallen through. It's just like a stupid lifetime Christmas movie about a girl who goes on a first date and then dies, and then the ghost interacts with the guy who she went on a date with, and it's called Ghosted, the Spirit of Christmas, because he thought he got ghosted, like not being texted, but he got literally ghosted because she died. It is a
Okay,
ghost.
that's that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Look, there's a couple other good ones. Like I like the claymation Rudolph movie, but again, it's more for kids. Like, where are these? What are some Christmas movies for the grown-ups? You know? And why aren't we watching them? Why are we only putting on these kids movies? You could be at a fucking all grown men's Christmas party and they're putting on these fucking kids movies, man.
I
Which
mean,
is
I'd say Elf is probably all ages appeal.
I guess it also I mean, I would say it has all ages appeal if I could say it had appeal.
You're not a
It's
fan of Elf?
look, it's not a banana, okay? It doesn't have appeal.
Didn't Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds make a Christmas movie a couple of years ago?
Yeah, and I don't know if it was good or not because nobody fucking watches it because they only watch Home Alone, Elf, or one of these kids movies. It's preposterous. And to talk a little bit more about Christmas music too, I have the same exact problem. There's a couple exceptions, but it's mainly the same Christmas songs like basically from when I was born to right in I was born in 2004, and from then until now, it's basically been the same Christmas songs. The fucking Frank Sinatra Christmas album or whatever. I don't fucking know about Frank Sinatra's discography. I don't know if it's a compilation or an
Blue
album, but
Christmas by Elvis Presley. Shout out, pretty good
yeah.
song.
Then
Christmas
there's
Wrapping by the Waitresses, great song.
Jingle Bell Rock, this and
Awesome
then
song.
fucking John Coltrane, few of my favorite things. Um Shit, man. And then there's the Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You, and then
Yeah,
she's got one
the
other Christmas
one.
song. I don't remember.
It's really funny how Mariah Carey just found the infinite buddy glitch.
Yeah, like nobody really like she has other music that's probably generating her a decent living all year long. Um like she's known for more than people think, but also there is that just one like 2 months of the year where just probably millions and millions of dollars are just going straight into her pockets. I don't know if she got a bad deal or anything. Like there are instances where that happens, but I'm assuming she's pretty good, pretty well off. The
Yeah.
idea of like making a living off of one song is really funny to me. Like Psy is probably still rich because of
Oh
Gangnam
yeah.
Style. I don't know if it's true. I don't have any friends in South Korea. That's well, there's a lot of countries I don't have friends in, but that's a major country that I don't have any internet friends in. So I don't know if this is true at all, but I have heard that he is popular in Korea, just in general, outside of Gangnam Style. But I can't imagine it's nearly he's known for like more well known for anything in Korea than Gangnam Style. That is just
Yeah.
like such a worldwide sensation. Honestly,
I
it
thought he was most well known for Heaven's Lost Property retrospective.
oh, shut the fuck up. I was like, why is Riely talking about pedophile anime right now? What does that have to do with this?
I'm talking about the YouTuber side,
Yeah, yeah.
everybody.
One thing me and you will never escape from is Monkey Jones universe bits. It's just we're never gonna record a podcast without anything like that being mentioned.
It's a signature.
So if who okay who are my fans that know about Monkey? There's well, I have a friend, Fuda Loving Cockmaster, who I think might have listened to some of my stuff. They're also a Monkey Jones fan. Femios, who is a piece of shit femboy YouTuber. She's a trans woman now, but
Oh
she
shit.
she had a series called Femboy Destroys Femboy Haters, and it was just like in iDubbbz. It was like iDubbbz content cop, but for hate comments on her channel. It was stupid. I don't know. But yeah, man, and also the gift exchange, man. Let's be real. We're getting a lot of shit we don't want on Christmas, right? If you go to a
Yeah,
big, do you go to a big family Christmas, or do you just do something with within your household?
I historically have, but not anymore.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Big family Christmas is the one good thing about Christmas is it's the prospect of that happening.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm not as into Christmas as I used to be historically, because it kind
Because you
of
don't have
was.
Christmas anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Like the thing is, like my mother hates holidays. And now she's the only one left. All the holiday events were pretty much on grandma, and mom just had to show up and pretend she didn't hate herself so that I would be happy. And now that grandma has unfortunately passed away and mom's all that's left, we don't really make a big deal out of holidays because she hates them.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks.
Yeah.
For me, when I do my big gift exchange, I get a lot of. I'm not gonna mention any names, okay? But there are two specific people that give me a whole bunch of shit I don't want. And also, I have trouble. It seems like every other part of the year, I could name a million things that would make my life better. But around Christmas time, I'm just like, God, what do I need? I don't fucking know. What do I need or want? I feel like it's as I get older, the more things that I need slash want, uh, more of them are getting really expensive, so I can't just ask for them from someone else anymore. What do I need? Well, I honestly, when I was a kid, what did I need? I needed the newest video game. What? Okay,
Yeah,
let's imagine an average Christmas list from let's say like the ages like 6 through 12. Like, what do we need? What do we
just
need
all
on a
video,
year?
just
All the video
100% video
games.
game.
For
Yeah,
you, you were just a pure video game Christmas guy.
pretty much. Like there might have been like other smaller like toy shit that I decided I wanted like on odd years, but like most of the time my Christmas list was just video games.
Huh.
I didn't just
I would
get video
say
games because of the adults in my life weren't into that idea, so they would also buy me other stupid bullshit I wouldn't use. But
I would
the list
say
I would give them was all video games.
I had divorced parents. Well, we both had divorced parents, but I had divorced parents and I saw my dad. And sorry, that was mean. At my dad's house, I would ask for all video games but at my mom's house, I wasn't allowed to have any video games. So I had to get creative and think of other shit. But there's probably a decent chance that I would have only asked for Christmas, for video games for Christmas, because that was my main passion for a long time.
I'm glad I remember I won the coin flip one year when I got both Pokemon Black and Pokemon White because it was both my dad and my grandmother independently of each other deciding to purchase me that video game. So there was a real chance that it was just going to be two copies of Pokemon Black or two copies of Pokemon White, and thank God they just happened to buy the opposite version.
What? So like, I understand that each version has like of a any Pokemon game has exclusive Pokemon, and that's pretty much the only reason that you would pick one version over the other. Why would you
Yes.
want both unless you planned on playing the entire game twice and just trading the Pokemon between the two of you to have a full Pokedex?
I mean, as a
Is it
kid,
was it just be collecting?
yeah, I mean, as a kid, like you would play the game twice, just like on your own. So it was good to have both, just so you don't have to delete the save file. And then there's also the added benefit of being able to get the exclusives and trade them around for Pokédex stuff. Because I had two DSs, so I could
Mm-hmm.
trade with myself. So that was the appeal.
That's cool. I never I never played Pokemon as a kid. I got my first ever Pokemon game was Pokemon Sun and Moon.
That's crazy.
I got that the year it came out. Okay, technically my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Stadium, and that's how I fell in love with Pokemon. But my first main series
That's
Pokemon
fair.
game, I fell in love with Pokemon Stadium around
Yeah, the
2016.
stadium games are so good.
They're fun.
I love stadium.
It's essentially the original version of Pokemon Showdown. I mean, it was
Pretty much, yeah.
you know, Stadium One, Stadium Two were respectively for Generation and One and Two, were essentially their versions of just battle. You and your friends want to
Yeah, that was
just
kind of
have a
that was it
Pokemon
was kind of
battle.
to make it was kind of to make tournaments more interesting, right? Because that's why they kept it up even because like they did Stadium and Stadium 2, and then they did Coliseum and XD, which they gave to a different company, and they actually made like really sick Pokemon RPGs. I would recommend them to anybody if you like Pokemon as characters, but you're looking for a more traditional JRPG than your usual Pokemon experience. Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness for the Nintendo GameCube. Thank me later.
I
Extremely
sure
good
hope
game.
I sure hope they're affordable games.
Well, they're not, but they will be coming to Nintendo Switch Online at some point soon.
Okay, that's
So,
good.
yeah. So, those are very good. But the reason why they outsourced those and had those made was again so that Pokemon tournaments could look cooler than they looked on like the Game Boy Advance Pokemon Emerald screen. And then they made Battle Revolution, which was just like slop, soulless slop in terms of its single player experience, but that was also just to facilitate tournaments looking better. And then by Black and White, they were confident enough in the graphics of the actual main video game to just have that at tournaments.
I would say Pokemon Stadium 1 would have been preferable for tournaments than Pokemon Black and White. In case anyone doesn't know, by the way, because if you're not a gaming nerd, Pokemon Stadium was a video game released for the Nintendo 64 that essentially had all was a 1-to-1 translation of the battle system from the original Pokemon games, but with like 3D graphics. And also they came with a little adapter. You could put your Pokemon game for the Game Boy inside of your Nintendo 64 controller and battle with your Pokemon and level them up and stuff. Really fucking cool technology, in my opinion. And especially when they did it with the second one too, like, and like they wanted it. Like, it's clear that they wanted that to continue being a thing for Pokemon, kind of like Riely said. That yes, these games with these visually iconic characters that can't really like fully do justice on an 8-bit handheld screen. We're gonna have we're just gonna have this game for the battle system, and they'll be like fully 3D rendered. Because kids too were obsessed with the look of the Pokemon, the visual identity of Pokemon, and
Yeah.
up until the Game Boy Advance, maybe even the DS, it wasn't able to fully capture the magic of it, in the way that the anime could, or that comics, or even the manga, or the trading cards. Pretty much all Pokemon media, besides for the game itself, relied on the beautiful, colorful, lively world of Pokemon.
Yeah, I really think I think black and white were the first to like really get that perfect.
Yeah, Gen 3 did a pretty good fucking job. It's just
Yeah,
that
I
the
mean, with the
hardware
technology they were
limitations.
given, they did an
Yeah,
amazing job, but it's just technological limitations.
it's just so funny to me that a franchise that thrived so hardly on like visually like literally the original 151 visually distinct creatures, uh they chose to put that on their black and white handheld console,
Yeah.
and that's what made it, and it ended up being a huge success in spite of that. Probably Pokemon has been argued to be the most successful, or one of the most lucrative media franchises of all time.
It literally is when you do the numbers, the highest grossing media franchise of all time. That is a fact about Pokemon.
It's crazy. It's fucking insane that they did that. With what Pokemon Red and Green / Red and Blue are, it's insane. It's absolutely
Yeah, those
insane that
those
it is
games were
what it
held
is.
together by those games code was held together by like duct tape and hope, and they're still some of the most iconic games ever in
The games
history.
they're almost unplayable right now, I would say. Red and Blue on original hardware.
Mm, I mean, for what they are, I think they're fine. Like
They're just
I mean,
fine.
like I said, the code is held together by duct tape and hope, but if you don't poke at that duct tape, it still functions normally.
If
And
you
I still think it's fun.
if you've played any Pokemon game or any game with similar game, like basically if you've played any turn-based combat game that came out after Pokemon, it's gonna be such a fucking headache to play it. I mean, people like I heard Monkey Jones say he can't even play Pokemon Black without a fast forward, without a fast forward option in an emulator. Like, Red and Blue is about 50,000 times more excruciating than that. And I say this because I played it, while technically not on original hardware. I played it on a Super Game Boy. Again, if you're not a gaming nerd, Super Game Boy was a basically a device that allowed you to play original Game Boy games on a Super Nintendo. So it's essentially a Super Nintendo cartridge that has a cartridge slot for a Game Boy cartridge. Very confusing if I were only to describe it verbally. Just look this shit up, man. If you like, that's another thing. People are always asking me in the comments what to explain what something was that I talked about. It's like you could literally Google it and know instantly instead of waiting for me to read your comment and respond. What? So, what were you
How long
least?
ago? Sorry, how long ago were you playing Red and Blue on a Super Game Boy?
Probably shortly after I met you.
Oh, okay.
2019, or we met in 2020, right?
Do you still own this Super Game Boy, or is it one of your many lost possessions?
Oh, I sold that shit.
Ah, shit. Okay.
Look, when I tell people I sold all of my retro games, I fail to people get mad at me, but it's because I fail to acknowledge that it was a heartbreaking decision I made in the face of financial ruin. It was not not like fuck my collection. But I was collecting retro games for from like 2015 to 2024, and
Did you just like sell your whole stock, or do you still have some of it?
I sold pretty much everything. I kept my well, it's almost considered retro now. I kept my PS3 and everything for
Yeah,
my
yeah, I
PS3,
knew that, but
and I
I
kept
guess that is
my.
kind of retro now. It's gonna be 20 years old next year.
I mean, 10 years ago we considered the PS2 retro, so might as well.
Yeah.
Um, I kept my PS3 and I kept my all my DS slash 3DS related stuff just because I can't let go of it. Like that was literally my childhood was my DS, my 3DS. Like I
It's
can't.
actually tragic to me how much of my DS shit I lost because I'm an idiot. So as a kid, I refused to not have all my games with me at all times. So I just had a Ziploc bag with all of my video games, and I would lose that
Yes.
Ziploc bag all the fucking time, and just have to restart
With
my
like
DS collection.
with like 12 games that cost anywhere between $20 and $60.
Yes,
So
correct.
like hundreds of dollars of shit in a little Ziploc bag and just
Probably,
losing it
I
constantly.
probably lost thousands of dollars worth of Nintendo DS games as a kid.
I kept basically I kept everything that I can't emulate, and I kept my original DS stuff.
Yeah, the DS is unique enough that like some of the shit just doesn't work on emulators. I got that wake
Yeah,
up call
exactly too.
I got that wake up call trying to do the Poke-athlon in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Me, Alex, and Penguin are doing a competitive Nuzlocke of Heart Gold, Soul Silver right now.
Yeah,
Um, and we tried to do the Poke-athlon, which is like the Pokemon Olympics. It's a mini game they have in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. That
yeah,
shit is fucking unplayable. It'd probably be playable emulated on a phone, but on a computer, I could not do
yeah.
it.
That's fair. Did it just require like rapid touchscreen
Rapid touching and like
movement?
flicking of the stylus, which is very hard to achieve with a mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emulators should just have features to like automatically perfectly do touchscreen shit for games that have
I
just a little bit of touchscreenness that's hard to pull off on an emulator.
I do wonder if they have that because like I know Dolphin has you can map like Wii motion controls to buttons.
That is true. What do you use to emulate the DS?
Melon DS.
Melon DS. Have you done online multiplayer on Melon DS before? It's super fucking fun.
Yeah, I did it with you once and it's cool. But I think my new router has some sort of weird restriction about changing the DNS, so it just doesn't work.
Hmm,
We were gonna do
that
all of our
sucks.
battling for our competitive Nuzlocke like through the emulator in the game itself, and then we had to do Showdown because it just would not work for
You
me.
just like perfectly recreate your teams in Showdown.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. What was your least favorite thing to get on Christmas? I mean, there's the
clothes,
books and
which
clothes
is
is
now my
the
favorite thing actually.
yeah.
Like
I was
I
just gonna
love
say
because I don't want to buy clothes, so I love getting them for holidays and gifts. But back in the day, it was like fucking clothes.
it's like my parents buy me clothes anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like
So
they buy me clothes all the fucking time. This isn't
yeah,
special at all.
nothing special about it. That's like if you got like dinner for Christmas. Like you open up one of your
I
Christmas gifts
unwrap
and
a
it's
Christmas
dinner.
special. It's like a bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, here's dinner. And it does say something about how ungrateful we are as kids, that we can't appreciate something like that. But at the same time, you're hyping up something as special. So you're thinking you're going to get some shit that you're not normally going to get, and then you realize half of your presents is just, oh, okay.
Shit you would normally get anyway. I
Just
mean,
a
like that was the
clothing
case.
shopping
I
trip.
mean, that was the case for any presents anyway. Like, I don't know. I guess some kids have like actual stringent rules where they can't get like cool shit unless it's like Christmas or their birthday. But
Yeah.
like, a lot of times I would just ask for a video game on a random day, and they would buy it for me. Like, so it wasn't like it was uncommon for me to obtain video games or
I
toys and
lived
the like.
I lived in between. I lived in a world where if I asked for something, my parents maybe within the month would get it for me. It was like going to HR with a request, and they would like possibly get back to you, able to meet your request, but not always.
That's how it was sometimes for me. It would be like depending on the day and depending on the circumstance. Like sometimes they just be like, "Yeah, fuck it, sure." Sometimes they'd be like, "I can't really do that right now, but like maybe soon." And then I would just get it randomly one day. And sometimes it would be within 2 months of Christmas or my birthday, and they would tell me to wait till Christmas or my birthday.
Yeah. For me, it was more. It was also like usually a reward for something. Like if I got good grades, they would keep buying me shit. Like if I kept getting good grades, they would buy me shit every now and then. You know, like yeah, he's a good boy. Let him get a toy. But yeah, I don't know. Once I was in middle school is when shit started getting tough. My parents wouldn't buy me shit like that often, but also it was difficult for me to obtain money to buy like the amount of shit my parents would have bought me when I was a kid. They would still give me rewards and stuff, but there was often times of, well, my parents don't just buy me everything now, but and also it's hard for me to make money. And also, I had that fucking bully in my school, which I've told this story on many podcasts. But this one fucking bully was taking all my money, making me give him money to
Ah, shit.
not tell everybody the name of the girl I had a crush on.
Oh yeah, I do remember this story. Yeah.
Yeah. For anyone who wants to hear that story again, they can comment down below. But otherwise, I'm not going to be retelling the same stories on every podcast. Like it's I listen to there's some podcasters like I listen if I don't want to create an experience where if you listen to me frequently, you're going to get the same stories over and over again. But at the same time, I do have to acknowledge that sometimes I tell a story on a podcast that not a lot of people hear.
Yeah, if you've told a story on a Riely podcast, it's basically fair game to tell again because nobody listens to those.
Nobody listens to anything I do, man. That's not unique to the Riley podcasts. Have you
No,
seen
you
TPGSA?
actually you actually get engagement shit on everything. Like even if it's just a couple comments, that's still more than I get 99% of the time.
I think there are Turning Point slash Middle School GSA episodes that have like no engagement whatsoever.
Maybe, but it seems like you get semi-consistent engagement. Like the trans fat experience in its original form is probably one of the most consistently engaged with shows I've ever done because it was your audience who was engaging.
Well, I also tend to focus on one or two projects and direct my entire audience to them.
Oh, okay, well, let's not start
You
this fight
all I'm
now.
saying is you like to split your audience up a lot between like 9 shows that you're doing it all at once. All I'm saying is like what I'm trying to do too, make Turning Point GSA like a central hub for things that me or Squeebo are doing that have a generally similar vibe, theme, or concept is also good. Like all I'm saying is that I'm not even insulting you. I'm just saying that I go out of my way to make sure that my audience is concentrated, whereas you are doing like a shit ton of different projects, so it's harder to like streamline your audience into engaging with any single one of them.
Yeah, I understand the pitfalls, but at the end of the day, there's just like a lot of like talented people I know that I want to collaborate with, and like nobody wants to listen to a podcast with 15 people on it, so I got to kind of split them into different places if I want to work with all of them.
Yeah, that's also fair. I kind of have that situation where but I don't like I guess I don't have like too many people that I want to consistently work with. I think my ideas for what makes a good Demigloom broadcast too also like heavily limit which of my friends I could work with. Whereas you like have friends and you see creative potential and then you're willing to like radically shift what you're doing creatively to do something good with another person. Whereas me, like I'm trying to stick to like one vibe for everything that I do.
Which is why it took
Creatively,
so long for this to happen, huh?
well, it took so long for this to happen because I am struggling a lot financially, physically, emotionally.
No, I mean, yeah,
And
I
it,
know.
it, it boils down to that and that only. I mean, my life sucks right now. I'm okay if anyone's wondering, but
Yeah, I know.
it's
I saw your tweet on Friday, and I was afraid this wasn't gonna happen.
look. A lot of white supremacists right now are talking about self-segregation, which is a fucking ludicrous and laughably stupid concept. Where they're just saying like, "I'm gonna avoid black people so I don't get robbed." I'm doing something similar, but not similar at all because don't associate me with that. I am self isolating from like people. Um, to put it lightly, a lot of people, and I won't get too personal about this. I know I have a tendency to get too personal on podcasts, and I'm working on that. But I am essentially realizing that right now, okay, you know how people say they're not ready for a relationship? Like, I'm
Hmm.
just not ready for a relationship right now, so they just kind of don't do dating. That's kind of how
You're
I
not
feel
ready for
about.
humans right now.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not ready for humans right now. You know, I got my. I'm kind of okay with my very small, tightly knit circle being my main source of socialization at the moment. Which includes like I'm in a committed relationship with my partner. We're almost about to hit our 1 year anniversary. There's Sweebo, who is my best friend till the end of time, and then there's my internet friends. Um, you know, like I'm, those people are making me happy enough right now, and I'm realizing that trying so hard and disappointing myself in the prospect of socializing with other people is hurting me a lot. And I just want anyone to know, if you feel like if I end up engaging with you less, that's temporary, and I'm just really trying to focus on preserving what I have, and focus on getting myself to stability before I continue to expand socially. This is not like advice to anyone. This is not like psychiatric or lifestyle advice, self help. I'm not a self help influencer. I'm just saying what I'm doing and my justification for doing it. And I could very well be wrong in trying to do this, and it could very well hurt me. And if it does, I will report back to you guys to tell you that that wasn't working and you probably shouldn't do that. But right now, I'm just like, like I feel like socialization, the pressure to expand socially has been making a lot of things harder for me. And right now I'm just kind of chilling regarding that. And my tweet was probably, I am not doing this as dramatically as that tweet would have implied. And I do rescind the extremity
Yeah,
of the
I was about to say
sentiment.
when you sent the tweet, it seemed like you meant like everybody, like literally
Can I?
everybody.
There's something I feel like I should tell my audience, but I also don't want to get like too into like it would border on I don't want to get into venting and shit, but essentially
We could do a little light
we'll do a
venting.
little light venting. Okay, I don't know if I've told Riley this either. Um, I have borderline personality disorder.
Mm.
I was diagnosed with it.
You've
Well, I
never
was
told me, but
okay. Yeah, exactly. I think every most people could tell. Uh, and that's what's making me struggle. That's part of why it's hard for me to struggle socializing. I feel like it's hard for me to find people who have the patience to deal with me radically shifting what I believe in and stuff like that. In my constant mood swings, I have panic attacks a lot. I have multiple panic attacks every day. I'm taking medication for it now, which is helping a lot. I need everybody to know, by the way, before I get in depth about this, I am doing much better. I have a treatment team and I'm doing much better. I don't want to get too personal about what all of that shit, but
yeah, you're doing things to better yourself.
I'm doing what you're supposed to do. I'm in a DBT program and all of that shit. I'm learning a lot of skills and I'm coping, doing a lot better. But I have borderline personality disorder and I feel like I owe an apology for making that my audience's problem a lot of the times. I mean, if you listen to middle school slash turning point GSA, the podcast a lot, I mean, that I go very back and forth between my attitudes towards life, what I feel positively and negatively towards. And while my political and overarching like worldviews stay the same, or at least out of reach of my personality disorder, when it comes to social things, I tend to radically shift my opinion on them. Not like social issues, I mean like literally like my social life.
Yeah, your direct social
My direct social life.
experiences.
I mean,
Yeah.
long story short, I go between psych, and this is like one of the most defining traits of this personality disorder is you go back and forth between idealizing and what's the word, diminishing the the quality of people in your life. So basically, you go back and forth between thinking somebody is perfect and then hating somebody. If you've listened to me discuss, I don't know, maybe people that are no longer in my life, in a retrospective way. Wink, wink. You probably noticed inconsistencies. You probably noticed me going back and forth between being this is the best person in the entire world and this is the worst person in the entire world. And I guess I just want to tell my audience that I am aware of the inconsistencies and I'm sorry and I'm trying to not be like that. And it's toxic as fuck. I don't know. This is not.
I have had times where where Demigloom's BPD is turned against me.
Yeah, and it's turned against everyone in my life, and it's something I have to apologize. It's something I have to come to terms with with everyone on an individual basis, and it sucks. It sucks for me. It sucks for everyone involved. But
I'll just get into a call with Demigloom one night. She'll be like, "Actually, I hate you."
yeah, you do piss me off sometimes, man, and I often react unreasonably, and I'm sorry. Um, Look, I didn't want to talk much about this, but it's something that I'm struggling with. And that's probably, and if you've noticed anything weird or inconsistent about how I behave publicly, that's probably what you could attribute it to. And now that I have a diagnosis and a better understanding of how I'm behaving, it'll be much easier for me to clock it and not display it on a public level or in a public forum. We barely talked about Christmas today.
It's true. It
What
happened.
what do we call this episode?
I mean, I still think Christmas and racism is the title.
Christmas and
It's funny.
racism. All right, I'll make like Matt Walsh Santa or something. I don't know.
Santa Walsh is coming to town.
All right.
He
Do we want to
knows
talk?
when you're woke checking. He knows. Okay.
What is woke checking? Come on. You're riveting it, yeah? No. Fuck, man. When you were a kid, were you confused at all about why Jewish people didn't celebrate Christmas? Or was that just a me thing? Because I remember there being one kid in my class who didn't celebrate Christmas, and everybody being like, "What? You don't celebrate Christmas?" And all of the adults in our life just trying to immediately shut down that conversation. And it being like secret knowledge that some people didn't celebrate Christmas. The more that I describe that, the more weird and uniquely my situation it sounds. Hello.
Hello.
Were you confused at all about people not celebrating Christmas as a kid?
I mean, I don't think I really encountered it.
Are there just no Jewish people in your region of Florida?
I guess not. I mean, as a kid, I never really.
Do you know Jewish people now? In
I
real life?
mean, no. I
No.
don't think so.
You can't name one Jew.
I can't. I
You can't?
can.
Right, okay, so Riely, wait, have you ever met a Jewish person?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm trying to think.
Not
Well,
that
you
I
def-
knew.
you def-
Not that I
you
knew
definitely
enough
have
to
on
knew
the
they were
internet.
Jewish.
You
Yeah,
definitely have on the internet.
I'm sure I've met Jewish people on the internet.
Many on the internet, but in person, I'm sure. Well, you also definitely have in person. It's just that you wouldn't know.
I didn't
That's
know that they
interesting.
were Jewish.
You haven't been
Yeah.
clearly you haven't been very close with a Jewish person.
No.
If you don't know that about anyone. Trying to think.
Not that I wouldn't be, but it's just I've never
I don't think
encountered one.
Riley came to Wisconsin for my birthday in August. I'm trying to think. I don't think anybody. I don't think anyone I
Are
introduced
any
you
of my
to was
friends Jewish that was at the party?
Yeah, I don't think so. Actually, I don't think I have any Jewish people in my immediate circle anymore. I've never had religious Jewish people in my immediate circle. I've known them. But also, religious people in general. There's not a lot of religious people in my circle in general. So, I don't know.
I think all of my friends are like either Christian, Catholic, or atheist and white.
You don't have any non-white friends, IRL? Is it
No,
just where? Okay,
I have, but I don't currently.
is your hometown just like extremely white?
It's pretty white.
Like
White and
what?
Hispanic,
White and
but
Hispanic. Okay.
the Hispanic people are usually not English speaking, so I didn't really foster relationships with them.
So it's mostly like, is it mostly like, I'm assuming since you live in the South that it would mostly be like first generation Mexican immigrants who don't speak English.
Yeah, don't speak English or at
So
least have
there's a
an extremely
communication
heavy
gap.
accent that makes it hard to communicate with them.
Are you sure it's an extremely heavy accent, or it's just
An
you
accent
being
that's normal.
aggressively, are you being aggressively white?
I
And
mean,
because like
I
because
I can't control my ears, Demigloom. I hear them talk in
yeah,
the accent, and I'm like,
okay,
what do they say?
that's true. That's true. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that you're a horrible person. No. No, this at my work, I don't want to talk about where I work, so nobody ask, but at my work there's this woman, I think she's Mexican. I don't know where I don't know where her family originates from, but she has a very thick Hispanic accent. I think speaks English as a second language. But I can understand everything she says, but one of my coworkers is constantly like, "I'm sorry, what did you say?" And it's just like it pisses me off, and I have to remember it's mainly due to exposure. Again, it's not every white person's fault that they can't understand somebody with a Hispanic accent. But it's odd. It's odd to me. It's like it's very clear, very obvious what she's saying. Like just even context clues. I don't know. That's fair. I mean, the cultural difference can make it more difficult to have that like initiating conversation.
I mean, what you just described is the phenomenon I had with that Scottish guy who co-hosted Lolcow Crypt with me. I understood him, but a lot of other
You
people
understood
did
this?
not.
You understood the Scottish guy? I
I
didn't understand
did.
anything he was saying. Or there were moments where I couldn't understand anything he was saying. He was like,
Yeah, okay,
"Oh,
there were a couple moments when he starts talking fast. That's his problem, is he'll start like rambling, and when he's
yeah,
rambling, it's complete nonsense. But when he's actually like talking and enunciating, it's good.
yeah." I hate Scottish people. I hate I hate the Scottish because they always end every sentence with like the same exact like almost melody to it, but it's not even a good melody. It's just like, I'm from fucking Scotland. I end every single sentence like this. Every sentence has to end like this. Or this. Every sentence has to end like this. That's
Wow.
what you sound like. That's what Scots sound like. Shut the fuck up. Stop going after every sentence. It's the most irritating fucking accent I've heard. I'm gonna get so hardcore canceled by the Scots.
Yeah. Mad Sean's gonna be in your comment section, and he's gonna be upset.
Who was Mad Sean?
That's the guy.
Oh no, just kidding, everybody. I love Scottish people. Daniel Sloss is my favorite. He's not my
Scottish
favorite
people are
comedian, but
awesome. I love
he's funny.
Shrek too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not racist. I like Shrek too. Is not a sentence I thought I'd be saying today, but it ties up our themes of Christmas and racism, I guess.
Beautiful.
Wasn't there a Shrek like Christmas special?
There was Shrek the Halls. I had that on DVD.
Wasn't Shrek the Halls? How long was it? Oh,
It was
30
it was
minutes.
like yeah, it was like 30 minutes. It was a shorter like little special.
I loved Shrek shorts when I was a kid. Like the post credit scenes or the scenes that they would have as DVD special features. Just
Yeah,
any like
remember Far
animated
Far
Shrek
Away's Got
content I could
Talent
get. Yeah.
with fucking Simon Cowell? That was great. It was funny because they didn't want to animate a sequence for each character winning. So like 75% of the people, if you vote for them, Simon Cowell's like, no, you're just wrong.
That's hilarious. Do you remember DVD games?
Yes, bro. DVD games were awesome.
They were, for some reason, like, there was a point in my life where I had video games in my house, but something about the DVD games was compelling enough that I wanted to play them. Although I also distinctly remember, because I don't know, when you were a kid, did you have like limited time that you could play video games, or was it just a 24/7 gaming? No, no questions asked.
For the most part, no limits. Unless
When
I
I
was
was
like in trouble or something.
when I was a kid, it was like, Dad, can I play my DS? Dad, can I play my N64? Like I had to ask for permission. So I have sometimes the DVD games were a loophole. It was like this is
Mm.
DVD. I'm not playing video games. I'm interacting with special features on this DVD menu, exploring the medium of film. I don't know.
I remember my babysitter showed me DVD games when I was 3, and it was like a whole new world. It opened up to me.
what games do you? Because
I
not a
was
lot
like,
of
I can
DVDs
play
had games on
games on
them.
my movies.
What games did you play on there? Was it mostly the trivia ones? Because that's what I remember a lot of DVDs having.
A lot of them were trivia. There were some like more like simplistic sort of games. I can't really remember them now because they were just so like bare bones, like looking back. But like they were definitely a very formative experience for me.
I
Like
remember
I know the Tarzan 2 DVD had a game on it. I remember playing a game on the Tarzan 2 DVD. I remember playing games on the Power Rangers Operation Overdrive DVD had a game. I think that one was just trivia, but it had like a bunch of bips and bops around it.
I remember specific. Well, one movie from my childhood that I never realized had a game on it, which I wish I did as a kid, is Alpha and Omega. There's like I believe there's like a sledding mini game that might be slightly Dragon's Lair like because TV remotes are infamously not responsive. Definitely not responsive enough to like I don't know. Look up the Alpha and Omega DVD game and you'll know what I'm talking about. And the one I remember the most was this particular edition of Toy Story that I had on DVD had a claw machine game that was very fun.
Oh, that's interesting.
You essentially like boot position you would position the claw machine to get the alien, and there were like a bunch of different prizes you could get. So there was like an incentive to like actually keep playing. It wasn't just an infinite loop. I also out of recently at a store just on the topic there was speaking of Dragon's Lair, I saw a copy of Dragon's Lair at a used bookstore. They have a video game section, you know. But this copy of Dragon's Lair was advertised as a video game compatible with the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. But in which is interesting. It's the first video game I'd ever seen technically not false advertised to work on both a PS2 and an Xbox, but it is only by virtue of it being a DVD game. So you control it with just through DVD with a DVD remote, and those game consoles. It's technically a video game that runs on DVD-R, but could also be played on both consoles, or I mean even a PC, I guess, if it had a DVD drive. I thought that was really interesting. I don't know.
What a thing. That's one of those lost arts.
Thankfully, Lost Arts.
Eh,
Waste of
I
fucking time,
mean,
Dragon's Lair. The whole thing was a scam to get you to pump in as many quarters as possible. You know how many random guesses you have to make to win that game?
I was talking about DVD games, not Dragon's Lair.
Oh, I was gonna say Dragon's Lair sucks. Like Dragon's Lair is complete ass. It's and that's another thing is I wish people in the retro gaming community were able to acknowledge that something is ass and still appreciate it as a part of gaming history. You know, like you can appreciate something as a gaming history part of gaming history, even as an essential piece of gaming history, an innovative piece of gaming history, and even acknowledge that it's fun to play today, but that in reality, it wasn't a good product. You know, like most NES games suck. I don't think people are willing to admit that. Like the NES just had such primitive technology that it did not facilitate, the development of a huge library of great games. Like most third-party games on the NES were horrible. Um, I don't know. I think the N64 generally aged poorly, with the exception of. Okay, there were a lot of great titles on the N64, but even with that in mind, the majority of them were like horrible and unplayable. Same thing with the
I mean,
PlayStation 1,
also
probably
the
even more
Nintendo
so.
64 controller is the worst video game controller ever designed by man. So that's
That's
also a
something
problem
I.
with the Nintendo 64.
The only problem with the N64 controller is that it has one joystick, and I'll stand by that. It's comfortable.
No, the problem is where the one joystick is. That's the problem with the N64
The three
controller.
handles thing, okay, the three handles thing was dumb, and I'm glad that nobody ever tried that again. But at the end of the day, it's it's not that big of a deal. Like it's not hard to play an N64 game. I would argue the N64 has a better controller than the fucking Sega Genesis by a lot.
The Sega
Any
Genesis
Genesis
controller,
controller
the Sega Genesis controller is just like it's just a copy of the Super Nintendo controller. What do you mean?
with no
It's
triggers and just like 9 buttons on it.
Oh yeah, I guess that is true.
It's just a D-pad and a shit ton of buttons. It's awful.
Yeah, it's not great. I'm not gonna sit here and try to fight for the fucking
Yeah,
Genesis controller.
Genesis controller is
It's
awful.
not a very good controller.
The Dreamcast controller is arguably worse than the N64 controller. Did the Dreamcast? I don't. But I never really played the Dreamcast like that. I had one relative with the Dreamcast, so I might have played it early in childhood. Yeah, it only has one. For a PS2 era console to only have one joystick, like what are you doing? I mean, the fact that Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 were designed without uh, dual analog control is crazy to me.
Yeah, that's definitely weird. I didn't even know that that was the case. That's wild.
Just nobody owned a fucking Dreamcast.
Yeah, the Dreamcast just didn't sell well, and then that killed
There's
the
no
Sega.
need. There's no need to own a Dreamcast unless you are very, very nostalgic for a Dreamcast you used to have. There's no reason to own a Dreamcast.
I mean, there are good game. You could say that about any console though, because like there are good games on the Dreamcast, but the reason why it would not be useful now to have a Dreamcast is because all of those games have been ported. But that's the case for like every retro console ever in history.
I would disagree. Well, I mean, another thing too. I guess to me, it's if I'm going to actually own a console, like a physical console, especially if I can just emulate the games if I want, like if I'm going out of my way to own the physical console, it's going to be because there's a large library of games that are good for me to play. And that just wasn't the case with the Dreamcast. That's just not the case with the Dreamcast at all. Like there's Sonic
Well, that's
Adventure
the
1 and 2,
thing.
which I think are bad games, but other people think are great.
I think
Seaman
they're I
is
think
probably
they're
the third
bad
best
games.
game.
I think they're good bad games. Is the thing about Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Like obviously, I feel about them how Aaron Hansen from Game Grumps feels about literally every Sonic game, where it's like this is bad, but it's fun though, even though it's bad.
That's been my opinion on Sonic. I've asserted this opinion on many a Riely podcast. Like, sorry that Riely has to hear it again. But the core appeal of Sonic games comes from familiarity. From the idea of navigating it with familiarity. Playing a Sonic game for the first time as an adult sucks, and no adult can really get into Sonic. If it's a Sonic game that you didn't play when you were a kid, it's dramatically uh, more difficult to get over its flaws. I think it's super clunky, and learning how to strategically avoid the clunk is a specific skill that comes from years of experience with Sonic. And these people who've been playing Sonic for years know how to navigate it in spite of its clunkiness, are telling all these other people, oh, you should play Sonic, not realizing that their many years of practice is what makes Sonic even remotely playable for them. And then where I lose people is where I say Sonic R is the best Sonic game ever made.
Yeah, you lost
I
me.
love that game. No, Sonic R does suck, but it's also really fun.
I like the graphics of Sonic. I think it truly breaks my heart that there's not a main series Sonic game on the Sega Saturn because Sonic's Sega Saturn model and like Sonic characters in the Sega Saturn style, I fucking love. It
Yeah, me
really
too.
upsets me that they did not finish Sonic Extreme.
Me too. I want like Super Sonic 64 essentially. Like that could have like the like a 64-bit 3D Sonic game. Not and again, not even as from a gameplay perspective, but from a gaming history perspective would have been so cool just to witness.
I mean, thankfully we have seen it in action. We know what it would look like. They just didn't finish it. They canceled
We
it.
haven't seen much of it, and it
Yeah, I
doesn't look
guess
like
we haven't
it's
seen a
not
whole lot.
exactly what I'm describing either. The like a like a modern 3D Sonic game. Like it's not, put it this way, it doesn't have the relationship that Mario 64 has to its modern uh, you know,
Was
versions.
Extreme not fully 3D? I don't really remember. It's been a while since I've seen footage of it.
Let me double check so I'm just so I'm fully aware of what I'm talking about.
At least we got Sonic R and Sonic the Fighters, so we can see those nice
Yeah, Sonic
Saturn style
Extreme
3D
wasn't
models.
Sonic Extreme looked more like a, do you know what Pac-Man World looks like?
Not really.
It's like it's hard to explain. The camera is is a very specific way. It's 3D but very linear. It looks to be.
Okay. So like Crash Bandicoot kinda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. More like a. I guess when I said Pac-Man One, or Pac-Man World, I should have said like a PS1 3D game versus like an
Yeah.
N64 3D game.
Well, I mean that's unfair because the PS1 had Spyro the Dragon, which is
That's
pretty
true. Pretty
yeah.
open, yeah. But like generally speaking, I don't know. Pac-Man. I also love Pac-Man World. It's a very fun game.
I've been meaning to play. I have like the remake of the first one was like a PS Plus game that I nabbed when it was up, but I haven't played it.
You should play it. I've never played that version, but the original version is
I've
very
heard
fun. If you ever
I
come to
didn't
my
hear
house,
any
I have the original version.
hell yeah. I didn't hear anybody talk about that first one, but they put out the Pac-Man World 2 remake recently and I everybody was praising the shit out of that.
Pac-Man World 2 was very different. Was a very different game from Pac-Man World 1. So if
Oh, okay.
I would expect very different things going into each one of them.
Fair enough.
Like what we said about it, the sort of linearness. Pac-Man World 2 was much more open.
Okay.
Pac-Man World 1 is kind of like Crash Bandicoot, but with more like of I don't know. It's like Crash Bandicoot, but kind of with the more Legends of Zelda kind of camera, if that makes any
I'm
sense. Like Super
yeah, I'm
Nintendo Zelda camera. Like,
that actually is interesting to me because I'm really into that style of game. I'm into like
yeah.
3D platformers that feel like 2D platform. That's why I was so when I played Super Mario 3D Land recently, I was so praising of it because it felt like that for Mario, and that was
Yeah.
an interesting thing.
What other 2D platform or whatever 3D platformers that are like 2D platformers do you like? I want to get more into some.
I feel like I can only think of Crash Bandicoot and Mario 3D Land. I want to try to find more that are in that genre. I mean, Mario 3D World probably also qualifies.
There,
Uh,
it's the same gameplay. Yeah.
yeah.
They literally copied like the Disneyland Disney World relationship. Super Mario World, Super Mario
Yes.
Land. But wait, Disneyland is the big one though, right?
I I don't know if one's really bigger than the other. I think it's just a
No, it's
differentiation of
Disney World.
location.
Disney World is the big one.
I thought they were both the same size, but what do I
No,
know?
man, you're from Florida. You should know more than me.
Well, but I'm not from California, so I don't know what Disneyland looks like in comparison to Disney World.
I mean, it's a land versus a world.
Oh, I think I,
I think people do
yeah.
say Disneyland to refer to either one of them. at least around here where I am.
Yeah, I think Disneyland has become the sort of blanket term.
Yeah, I always hear Disneyland, but more often than not, people are talking about Disney World. All right, I think we've talked enough. Do you?
Yeah, solid
This
episode.
is pretty fucking good, man. We gotta shit, man. I forgot how good Demi and Riley like podcasts are. They're
Thank you. Finally, you remember and
yeah, no, it's.
realize.
I think I've been. I think I've been disaffected when I think I was sorry. Jesus Christ. I think I started to feel disaffected when I tried to assimilate into the new issue crew. With no disrespect to anybody on there, but I don't think I
You did
am
not
as
try. Try is not the right
no,
word.
I tried. I genuinely tried, but it was so it's just different. It's just a very
You got to
different.
show up more than twice for it to qualify as trying.
I'm saying on the episodes I was trying. On the episodes I
Okay.
was on, I
I
was
see it. I
trying,
see
and I
what you
just
mean. I
like
see
did
what you
not
mean.
click, and I'm just like, oh god. I also
I
think
mean,
that
I
a
would
lot of
love for the
times,
old cat issue crew to just kind of recannibalize the old one and take back over, but I can't just do that. It's got to be gradual.
well, let's talk about the original issue crew. Who's the original
Okay.
issue crew? It's me, Riley, Demigloom, Riley, Andrew, Mo, Jason, Partsy Protsy, Ida. That's everyone, right? I said Mo.
I don't remember
What,
if you
like
said
six
Mo or
people?
not, but you
That's
either.
yeah. Okay, but am I missing anyone?
I don't think so.
Okay. So out of those people, Jason and Ida aren't coming back, which
Obviously.
where they were pretty. I would say they were pretty essential characters, each of them in their own way. Also, even if we were really mad at Ida the whole time, being mad at Ida in a way became an important part of the show.
Well, I guess
Um.
I'm more thinking of like largest issue in the galaxy then, because like
Okay.
that was me, you, Andrew, and Mo. All we're all still friends, kind of. Me and Mo are kind of in a rough patch right now.
Are you and Andrew doing good?
Yeah.
It seems like there was a point where you and Andrew were like not doing great.
No, I think yeah, it was because of big guy, little guy. Andrew kind of has some issues where his mood will rapidly shift at times. And that most recent time was he got me like way back into Big Guy Little Guy and like we recorded for a few weeks. And then he just sent me a DM that was like just like scathingly like Big Guy Little Guy sucks and I do not want to work with you. And
That's the problem with Andrew. Is Andrew's a great guy, but some one thing he does is when he gets mad at somebody or he's unhappy with someone, he does not tell them. And then he just lets little pet peeves accumulate over the course of like maybe a year. And then he just lets it all out in one thing without ever giving you any kind of heads up that he doesn't want you to do that thing.
but at this point, I think we've addressed a lot of our issues. We've had like private conversations where we've kind of explored the feelings that led to our darker moments, and I think the big guy, little guy is going to be back in full swing. We're actually going to be a live stream now, probably starting next weekend.
Cool.
Yeah, and Andrew was on the
Like
issue crew last week.
you say that as if it represents like the health of the show, and you're basically just casually admitting, yeah, we're not gonna edit it anymore.
Well,
Like,
fuck you.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing it live now. Yeah, we're not gonna edit it. You know, this edited Let's Play show. You're like, yeah, you're actually gonna get a lot more awkward silence now.
Well, we don't really. We've never really cut like game footage just because there's silence anyway.
That's
Like,
fair. Hopefully the
like,
chat helps. The chat
yeah,
should
yeah,
help
yeah.
too.
The chat should help,
You
and I
could
feel
just
like we don't really
live
have a
stream
lot
it
of
and edit it
silences.
though.
I mean, yeah, we could put out like edited versions of the last show, but to be real, like the reason I'm sure Andrew will admit this on air when we go live. The reason is because Andrew can't motivate himself to edit.
Oh wow.
We we did
So
record.
exactly what I predicted.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's what happened, right? We recorded. We came back like the regular way, and we recorded a session, and then the session sat on his computer for 3 weeks. And I'm like, look, Andrew, it's obvious to me that you want to do the show, but you don't want to edit the show. Why don't we do a live stream, which is a thing that people do anyway, and could be cool, and it saves you that amount of time. So that's the direction that we're going.
Yeah, that's I can't argue with that. All right then. Well,
But yeah, that essentially I do yearn for the days of BU Andrew and Mo. I think that was a good cast. It's
I mean,
unfortunate
we
you
could get
weren't
Andrew and
free.
Mo on this show at any point.
We could. That's true. It's really hard to get Andrew to agree to do podcasts, though. He came on
Yeah.
the Issue Crew last week, but that was after a lot of badgering.
Me and Andrew are part of a brotherhood with a sworn allegiance to one another, so we can I can get Andrew on this show easily.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry
Well,
Christmas to all,
Merry Christmas and but like
and
fuck
Happy
man.
Holidays also.
But like doesn't that make it sound like Christmas is more important than the other holidays? I don't want to be like, you know, a white supremacist about all of this.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm trying to do a callback joke to the Matt Walsh
yeah.
movie. Happy holidays, everybody. Happy winter, honestly, in general. Just stay safe, man.
Happy winter solstice.
Happy winter solstice, or as they say in the secular winter celebration from my favorite show, Community. Merry happy, everybody.
I thought you were gonna say Seinfeld and you were gonna say Merry Festivus.
No, I don't. I haven't really watched enough Seinfeld. I'm gonna be real. I gotta get
I
more.
haven't either. That's one of
See.
those big gaps.
I'm like I'm knowledgeable about Seinfeld because I've watched all of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And Curb Your Enthusiasm is Larry David playing himself as the guy who created Seinfeld. So they talk a shit ton about Seinfeld and they do a Seinfeld reunion. And without spoiling, they basically the entire show revolves around its relationship to the show Seinfeld. So I know a lot about Seinfeld. And I've watched like 2 seasons accumulatively, probably. I've watched 1 season of Seinfeld, season 1, and then I probably accumulatively have seen like one more season of it,
A
just
season's
adding
worth
up
of
random.
other episodes
Yeah,
just randomly. Yeah.
it's pretty good, but I think it's, it has that spell on older generations that it just doesn't, I think it just can't have on Gen Z. I just think it's not as much our sense of humor as it would
Yeah,
need to be
I
in order
think
for us to
Always Sunny
for it
is
to be
our
beloved.
Seinfeld.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's always sunny. Community maybe. Couple. I mean, Malcolm in the Middle is probably more like our Seinfeld.
No, I think Malcolm in the I think like
I guess to be a
sitcoms that star
Seinfeld,
kids are kind of a separate
that's
category, I
true. I think
think.
to be a
Yeah.
Seinfeld, it has to be about grown men
Yeah, I
dealing
think
with.
Always Sunny is 100% our one-to-one Seinfeld. Like it's
Yeah, you're
this like
probably right.
comedy sitcom that everybody agrees is like amazing, that everybody references and talks about all the time. It's our generation Seinfeld, as It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I would say if we're judging basically on the show or judging entirely on the show itself, then yeah. But I don't think it's nearly as big as Seinfeld was.
Yeah, I don't think anything is at this point though. I think that was kind of a lightning in the bottle that
I
only
mean,
happens like once every thousand years.
the only thing right now that's that big is probably like 6'7". So 6'7". 6'7" is our generation Seinfeld. I don't know, man. Mr. Beast is our generation Seinfeld.
That might be. That's possible.
I mean, did like Mr. How many views does Mr. Beast's average upload? It's probably more people than people who watch Seinfeld.
But it's like how many of those are just like letting a playlist play on the TV while like 7-year-olds play with blocks?
True, but a lot of these have like 134 million views. Did any
That
episode?
is a lot.
What
Yeah.
was the most watched episode of Seinfeld? Okay, yeah, 76.3 million viewers is the most. No, but then again, that doesn't. We're not counting people who've seen it after, and Mr. Beast videos are always up, so you can watch them at any point. Whereas the most watched Seinfeld episode is only counting people that watched it as it aired. So I
Yeah,
guess it's
that's
not really
true.
fair.
I'm sure cumulatively over time, most Seinfeld episodes have been seen more than 136 billion times.
Yeah, which is insane to think about. That we live in such a monoculture
Yeah.
that anything is that universal. I mean, like, I remember the first time. I don't remember if this was the first upload, but I remember it being very noteworthy that Despacito had like a billion views on YouTube. Like I remember just being baffled that like an eighth of the population's worth of views were directed at that. Holy shit!
What?
I just looked it up out of curiosity. Despacito has 8.8 billion views. Isn't that baffling?
That's,
8.8
that's a lot of
billion
fucking...
people like
And we're talking
it,
like the Justin Bieber version, right?
no, I don't think so. We're
Or
talking
is it or is it the actual Louis Fonsi version?
Louis Fonsi, Despacito.
Okay.
I don't hear Despacito ever. I mean, I guess like, I mean, you could argue it's a non-English song and it's the bulk of those views are coming from Spanish-speaking countries, but at the same time, like, holy fucking shit. You'd think if something was
Yeah, it
that
probably
huge.
is. It probably is like majorly Hispanic because that's why I immediately thought it was the Justin Bieber version because I think that's the one that's relevant to us,
Yeah.
really. But no, I didn't realize how popular it was in its actual country of origin to have that many views.
Where's it even from? What country is Despacito?
I don't want to
Louis
guess
Fonsi.
because it'll seem like I'm racist if I'm wrong.
Puerto Rico.
Okay.
That makes sense. Puerto Rico has had a chokehold on Latin American pop culture for a while. Anyways, we've been saying we were going to end this. Is this a plugs show or a link in the description show?
Oh, what you? Oh, I forgot you had this weird vendetta against doing plugs at the end of the
I hate doing
podcast.
at the end of every episode we gotta go around the horn and spend like 20 minutes just saying everything we're on.
Well, I mean,
Plug like one thing. Tell people to check out like one thing. Okay? Plug one
well,
thing and then be
yeah.
like,
The
if you want to
plug
follow me on
is
anything.
yeah. The plug is linktr.ee/Riely Cinematic Universe, and then sometimes I'll mention one or two particular things that I'm focused on at that moment.
Alright, cool. That's totally fine.
Yeah, so there you go.
Okay, but in the past,
linktr.ee/Riely Cinematic Universe. Riely Cinematic Universe.
you would make literally everybody be like, you could follow me on Twitter at blank blank blank, Instagram at blah blah blah. Oh, I'm also doing a thing on blah blah blah, which is blah 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 blah. It would be like a whole, and half the time the plugs would start other conversations, and then we go back into the show, and it would be it's such a disaster. I'm Demigloom. I make rap music, and my album is dropping whenever I feel like it because my life sucks, and I have no fucking time to do anything. But I'm almost done. I swear.
Oh, are you no longer confident in that release date you kept saying every time I told you that it was never
The
coming
release date
out?
has passed.
Oh, it has.
It's
Fuck!
December
I didn't even
8th.
notice. I should have been laughing in your DMs the next day. Fuck.
I know. I was wondering when you were gonna harass me about that. No, I'm this week. I'm pretty free. I have off of work, so I think I'm gonna like try to finish it this week. I'm almost done.
Tune
Like
in
I'm
for the Demigloom
genuinely
album
almost
in
done.
2029, folks.
2029, folks. I'm pretty fucking determined to get it out before January, so there's that. But there's also, you know what, I'm not even going to talk about it, but there are possible obstacles, if you know what I mean, if you've been paying attention to the music industry. Possible obstacles in getting it on all platforms. That's all I'm going to leave it at. I don't want any
Wait, really?
discussion.
What?
Yeah, I don't know discussion about this.
I just don't know about this. You're confusing me.
Look at what's happening with Spotify in the music industry, and you'll realize that the particular type of music I make may have some challenges. That's all I'm gonna leave it. I'll explain it to you after.
Yeah, explain it to me after. I don't know what the fuck you're talking
Okay.
about.
Anyways, this has been the Trans Fat Experience, and I am Demi. We don't have an outro.
And I'm Riley, and I hope you enjoyed this experience. Goodbye.
Have a good non-secular holiday, everybody.
Yes.
Or secular holiday. Or you know what? Fuck it. It's okay to have a non-secular holiday.
Non-secular. Who cares? Just have a good time.
Have a good time. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.